Hi, I'm Jason Inman, and I like to read comic books. That's why this week I decided to name the best comic book series of 2013. And don't worry, it does include miniseries. Before we get to my list, don't forget to go to MajorSpoilers.com, the comic book website, where they know that you love comic books, and we do too. Now, I've picked who I think are the 5 best ongoing series / miniseries comic book series published in 2013, but there were a lot of honorable mentions, and I want to mention some of them right now. Matt Fraction's Sex Criminals definitely deserves an honorable mention, as does Brian K. Vaughan's Saga. Josh Elder's issue Adventures of Superman was brilliant. We have Mike Allred and Matt Fraction on FF. Mark Waid's Daredevil. I also love some of All New X-Men by Brian Michael Bendis, and of course the conclusion of Batman Incorporated. Now, none of those made it in my top 5, so let's find out who did. Number 5, Thor, God of Thunder. What's better than one Thor, God of Thunder? How about 3? This is the epic Thor tale of, we have a Thor from the past who doesn't have Mjolnir yet. We have the current day Thor. And then we have the old Thor who's on his throne. He has one eye like Odin, and he's like Conan the Barbarian. Jason Aaron and Esad Ribic, I hope I pronounced that name right, give us one of the best Thor tales in years by combining an element that usually is not combined with Thor, and that is time travel. You see, Thor, I find, is a character that is very difficult to get properly because he's a god. Of course, you can't really kill him, except for that one time that they did actually kill him. But he is a character that is so epic, has 9 realms, has a giant hammer that can't be stopped. So you have to devise or create a tale that is just as epic as he is. And by moving through the multiple time periods of Thor, by letting us see his conclusion, by giving us a villain such as the God Butcher, a person who is so against gods that they have been going through all story, all time to kill every deity that is known to exist, you finally give Thor an enemy who can be feared. And this is one of the best Thor tales that I have ever read. This is Marvel now at its perfection. To introduce an old character that we all know and love, throw in some beautiful painterly art by Esad Ribic, and give us a tale that slaps us outside the face. That is why Thor, God of Thunder is one of the best books of 2013. But who's number 4? Number 4, Green Arrow. Sometimes when you read a comic book, you're reading it and you wonder, you get that feeling. You get something, some subconscious feeling that something more is taking place than what you're reading. And that is definitely Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino's Green Arrow. There is a feeling with this book that they are creating a tale, or maybe quote unquote the definite tale of Green Arrow, by throwing out everything of the New 52, which by respects, the New 52's Green Arrow was pretty bad. I mean, they switched like 3 different writers. They couldn't figure out what to do, but they gave it to Jeff Lemire, and Jeff Lemire ignored all the stuff that had happened before, and he went on his own path. And now Green Arrow has dynamic art. You can see Oliver picking his shots. Every page is fantastic. I have never seen comic art like that, and that is why this is brilliant. And also, he is reaching back into Oliver Queen's past to connect Ollie to the island, to connect Ollie back to Shadow, to connect Ollie back to his father, which makes this a very personal story as well as an epic one, as it's taking place all throughout the world. If you are not reading Green Arrow, you need to be. 1, for simply the fact that the art. 2, simply for the fact that Jeff Lemire liked the CW Arrow's character of Diggle so much that he introduced him into DCU, which is a brilliant idea, by the way. It works. This book is fantastic. And I have a feeling that 20 years from now, we like Mike Grell's The Longbow Hunters. I love Judd Winnick's 75-issue plus run of Green Arrow. This one will be on par with those 3. You will think that this is one of the most definite Green Arrow tales out there, and that is why this is book number 4. Number 3, Wonder Woman. We are 2 years out of the New 52 reboot, and what is the best DC New 52 book being published right now? That's right, it's Wonder Woman. It's not Superman, it is not Batman, it is Wonder Woman. Brian Azzarello Cliff Chang are fantastic with this book. Similar to what I said about Thor, Wonder Woman is a character that is hardly ever understood. She doesn't have a very definite origin that is known to the public. She is kind of flip-flops. She goes back and forth. She changes. She gets rebooted almost every 10 years, it seems. So it is very striking that Brian Azzarello can introduce that Wonder Woman is the daughter of Zeus, that he can introduce that she was trained by the god of war, that she can introduce Hermes into the supporting cast, she can introduce the new gods, and yet we accept it and believe it and go with the story's flows all the way to the climax. Well, it hasn't even climaxed yet, but all the way to the climax and believe it as that this is the Wonder Woman that should have always been. The warrior that is a proud woman. The warrior that is very smart. The warrior that you do not want to piss off, really. That is Brian Azzarello's Wonder Woman. It makes sense that this Amazonian could come to the new world and conquer us all with her beauty, her smarts, and her cunning. And she has never been powerful. I have never been a huge fan of Wonder Woman. So just the fact that I am putting Wonder Woman as my number 3 should give you an idea of how much I admire and appreciate Brian Azzarello's work on Wonder Woman. This book is fantastic. It is the best book of the New 52. If you are not reading Wonder Woman, you are wrong. By the way, Zack Snyder, just saying, you should flip open this book because this is the best version of Wonder Woman that has been around for a long, long, long time. No offense to Linda Carter. This Wonder Woman is wonderful. No pun intended. Now on to my number 2. Number 2, Locke Key. Every once in a while, a great series comes to a conclusion. A 40-plus issue series comes to a conclusion, and that is Locke Key. Joe Hill, the son of Stephen King, but that doesn't matter because he's a brilliant writer in his own right. And Gabriel Rodriguez, the master of hiding things in the panels, concludes their series, and they only had 3 issues in this year. They had the finale to Locke Key Omega, and they had Locke Key Alpha 1 and 2, and it's the conclusion to their entire series. And let me tell you, they stuck the landing. It was frightening. There was a lot of deaths, and we finally got to see what happened to the Locke children once they fought the demons that had to deal with all the keys in the Locke house. And it was a little sad. Joe Hill, you know, he stabbed us in the gut, and he turned us down a corner that we thought, like, no, Joe Hill, don't leave us here like this forever. Don't, Joe Hill. And you know what? He went for a little bit of a happy ending, which I would have rather have seen the sadder ending. I mean, that's just my personal taste. But you know what? Joe Hill, I can totally understand you not wanting to be people be furious at you for years. Like, for 20 years now, if you wouldn't for the sadder ending, the character death that I can't tell you about, people would have been just like, curse you, Joe Hill! Curse you! But he went happy ending, and it all worked out. Locke Key, since they stuck the landing, is definitely one of the series that I will always recommend to people. If people come to me and they're just like, hey, Jason, I know that you like comic books, and what do you think I should read? Well, I'll tell you what, Locke Key most definitely will probably be my first answer. Locke Key is the second best series of 2013 because of its amazing conclusion and how I love how we ended the story of those characters. But what is my number 1? Number 1, Hawkeye. If you would have told me that 2 years ago I would love a book about an Avenger that is nothing about dogs, ex-girlfriends, and programming VCRs, I would have said you're crazy. But you know what? It's 100% true. Hawkeye is the best book of 2013, and I love every minute of it. Why? Well, let me tell you, it is the perfect collaboration of Matt Fraction, the writer, and David Aja and other artists making this just brilliant. This is the most independent book of the big 2. What do I mean by that? Because Hawkeye doesn't really fight villains. It's more about characters and beats and moments and the art finding perfection and meaning and color in those moments. It is so fascinating and brilliant. It is the book that should have never worked. It is the book that should not be good. But you know what? It is. Before this, the most Hawkeye was ever known as was being that really cool Avengers in sort of a purple Wolverine costume and leading the West Coast Avengers and the Thunderbolts. But you know what? Now he's going to be known as the best book of 2013. And those are my picks for the best comic books of 2013. I hope you enjoyed my list. As always, go to majorspoilers.com, the comic book website where they know that you love comic books, and we do too. They got a lot of really awesome things happening there, especially January 1st. They're gonna do a complete site redesign. So go over there, check it out. They always have a poll of the week. Go vote in the poll of the week. Leave below in the comments what you thought of my list, what you think are the top 5 best comic books of 2013. What you disagree with me and agree with me. Hey, you know, we all have opinions. I have opinions. This is my list. It doesn't mean it's the do-all, be-all. We can disagree, whatever. You know, so please keep it classy down in the comments and don't just call me an idiot blunderhead or stuff like that. You know who you are. Anyways, I thank you all for watching these videos. Thank you all for, I started these videos back in May, all these weekly comic book reviews, and because of all you excellent people, I am going to keep making these throughout 2014. Please do me a favor as my New Year Merry Christmas gift from you to me. Share this video. Just share this video once. Show it to all your comic book friends. If your comic book friends are like, hey, I don't know what comic books to read, well, show them one of my videos. Let me be the friendly face to comic books because I love comic books. I think everyone should love comic books, and I thank you for watching. I'm Jason Inman. You stay classy in 2014. Have a happy new year, a happy holidays, and you know what? Go buy yourself a comic book on me. Be seeing you. I'm Jason Inman.
The 8th Doctor was a debonair man. He was played by the amazing Paul McGann. One movie's not enough, don't you know?